Haha, welcome again. This is lecture 1 and this work problem on trigonometric identities. Now we'll be looking at it, still XMLing website. Now we'll look at how to solve some questions here, but meanwhile, if you haven't watched our video on tricks, on exam tricks, that's another playlist. Go there, watch how to get the trigonometric identities before watching this video so that it can do you much well. So now let's look at how to solve the first question here. The first one, we have that what sine square theta cot theta, then sec theta is equal to what? Sine what? Theta. Now what actually we want to do here is what? That you should prove that this side, this left hand side, will be equal to what? The right hand side. That if we were to simplify this side, that we're going to end up with just what? Sine theta. So that is the first thing we ought to know about this. The next one is you look at this side. This is what you're actually supposed to get as your answer, right? And you notice that this answer is only in what? Sine. That is to say, we are to eliminate, now this is already in sine, but this one is not in sine. This is not in sine. So we have to eliminate these two, to convert them, to do all the necessary conversions to the extent that will end up in just what? Sine. So let's get down to it. Now the first thing we do here now, let's get the question out. Now this is what? Sine what? Square theta. Then what is connecting these these things here are multiplication, just multiplication, multiply by what? Now what is cot theta? From our previous video we discussed that cot theta is 1 over what? Tan. 1 over what? Tan theta. That is the inverse of tan theta. Is going to give us what? Cot theta. Now let's go down. Let's look at it now. And what is tan theta itself? Tan theta is what? Sine theta over what? Cos theta. And when we talk about the inverse now, the inverse of this tan, that is what we should inverse this. That this one goes up and this sine what? Comes down. So the inverse of this is not going to be what? We have the inverse to be, instead of sine over cos, now is what? Cos theta all over what? Sine what? Theta. And that is the inverse of tan. So let's use it directly from here. Let's put it into here immediately. So now what we'll do from here is, now let's put down the value we got now. This is now what? Instead of sine over cos, now it's what? Cos theta all over what? Sine theta. And this is what we call cot. So this is the value for cot now. Next is multiply, right? What is sec theta? Sec is inverse of cos. Sec, that is inverse of cosine. That is inverse of what? Cos theta. Now what do we do from here? Now let's look at the possible things that can be able to eliminate themselves immediately from this point. Sine cancel one of the sine up here. Cos cancel cos here now. So what are we left with here? Here we're left with just what? Sine what? Theta all over 1 from the first one. The second one is just 1 over 1. And the third one is just what? 1 over 1. So this side will end up in what? Sine what? Theta. And then we notice that this now is equal to what? This side. That's all. So it's all about proof. Okay? Now let's go to number 2. Now the second one, that is number 2 here now. Let's have number 2. Number 2 says we should prove that what? 1 all over, sorry, this is now 1 plus cot theta all over what again? This is now 1 plus what? Tan theta is going to give us cot theta. So this is another question here. Now we should prove that what? This particular one at the left hand side is going to be equal to just cot theta. Now I told you earlier, what is cot theta? Cot theta is simply to know that cot theta is 1 over what? Tan theta. That's all. 1 over tan theta is going to give you cot theta. So whenever you arrive at something like this, you can easily change it to what? Cot theta. That is 1 over tan. So now what do we have here now? 1 plus cot theta up here now. Let's have this to be what? This is now 1 plus cot over here now. Cot at the top is what? 1 over tan, right? 1 over tan theta. So this is now all over, what do we have here? This is now 1 plus what? Let's have this to be what? Tan theta. Now, but tan theta, what is tan theta? Tan theta itself is what? Sine over cos. That is a sine theta all over what? Cos theta. Now let's simplify the numerator up here first. Now the numerator here will have this to be what? Inverse of tan. What is the inverse of tan? Instead of sine over cos, it now becomes what? Cos all over what? Sine. That is the inverse of tan. Let's copy it out. This is now 1 plus what? Cos what? Theta all over what? Sine theta. That's all we have for this one. Then all over, what we have down here is just 1 plus what? Sine theta all over what? This cos theta, and that's all. So the next thing to do is to simplify this up here again, and this is 1 plus what? This is cos theta all over sine theta. So cos theta over sine theta, now we'll make this over 1. Now find the LCM here, that is what? Sine what? Theta. Then sine theta divided by 1 is still sine theta times 1 is still what? Sine what? Theta. Now this is plus, sine into sine is 1, 1 times cos is what? Cos what? Theta. So let's keep this one first. This is the first thing we got up here. The first one we have here, let's drop it this for only the numerator. Now let's simplify the denominator here now. In the denominator also, we have this to be what? Now let's find the LCM in the denominator. This is more like over 1. Now this is what? Let's have this to be all over cos what? Theta, right? Cos into 1 is what? Cos. Cos times 1 is still what? Cos what? Theta. Plus cos into cos is 1. 1 times sine is what? Sine theta. So this is what we have for the down one here. That is for the denominator. Now let's place this denominator and numerator, and then we've simplified them gradually. Now let's go up here. Let's do them up here. Now up here, now let's have our numerator. Our numerator is what? Sine what? Theta plus cos theta. Then all over what? This is still the numerator, sine what? Theta, right? So here now have it to be what? Divide by the denominator. Now we got denominator to be what? This is now cos theta plus what? Sine theta all over, this is just what? Cos theta. So what do we do now? We place them side by side so that we can be able to what? Reciprocate. Now let's drop it here now. At this side now, let's simplify them at this point here. Now this now is same as what? Sine theta plus what? Cos theta all over, what is this? This is now sine what? Theta. Then divide. This is more like this. Divide what? This is cos theta plus sine theta. Then all over what? This is now cos what? Theta. Now let's deal with this division sign here. Dealing with division sign here, we convert it to multiplication. When we reciprocate, take this up, bring this down. That's all about this reciprocation. So we'll have this to be what? This now sine theta plus what? Cos theta all over what? Sine theta is now going to multiply cos theta. Remember, we reciprocate, is now over. Now this is now cos what? Theta plus what? Sine theta, right? Cos over sine theta. Now let's do some little cancellation here. Now sine theta cancel what? Sine theta. Cos theta cancel cos theta. Now what are we left with her? This is simply what? Cos theta all over what? Now this one here all over what? Sine theta. Now remember that cos over sine in tan is supposed to be what? Sine over what? Cos. So when we have just what? This now cos then over sine, that is the inverse of tan. That is the same as tan inverse, and that tan inverse is called what? Cot. So we are actually done with the first one. We said that we are to get what? Cot. Now where is the cot here? Let's have it. Let's look at our second number 2, and we are correct. Number 2 say we ought to get what? We ought to get what? Cot. So this we're done with number 2. Now let's go over to number 3. Number 3 question. Let's solve it down here. Number 3 question here now is is a bit technical also, but it's simple actually, but it looks looks technical. Now let's solve number 3. Number 3 here now, let's have it. This is tan x plus sec x all over what? Sec x. Then what happens now? Let's simplify this one. This one will have it to be what? At this point we have this down one now. We'll make it what? All over 1. Now let's look for the LCM here. LCM is now what? Sec what? X. Sec x divided by 1 is still sec x times 1 is what? Sec x plus what? Sec into sec is 1. 1 times tan x is what? Tan x. That's all. So from here now we are done. Okay, we just finished partly. Now we'll drop our sec x outside here also, sec x. Then we are multiplying through the bracket. Now in multiplying through, this is more like over 1, right? So you have this over 1. Next is to what? Cancel out. This is what? Sec cancel what? Sec. Okay, now this still line running through. Sec cancel sec. Now we are just left with what? Sec x plus what? Tan x. Okay, so this is what we have for the denominator. Now let's place it now with the numerator. The numerator will have just what? We have tan what? X, and the numerator plus what? Sec x. That is for the numerator. Then all over the denominator, now that we simplified, is what? Sec x plus tan x. It's very simple from here. Now from here we have that what? Tan x cancel what? Tan x. Sec x cancel sec x. The answer is just equal to 1. So it's the same thing as what we have over here. That means we are done with this expression and we are done with how to prove it. So do well to watch our next video on lecture 2 on worked problem on trigonometric identities. Still Extreme Learning website. Please, if this video have done well, you have learned something from this video, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you. See you in the next video.